Hello everyone, welcome to the session on energy engineering. So I am Satish H, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. So in this lecture session, we will try to understand the topics which are related to the hydroelectric power plant. So in the previous classes, you might have seen or understood about the introduction to the hydroelectric power plants, and then what are the different components of an hydroelectric power plants. So the different topics that we are going to discuss in this session are listed out here. The first one is storage and pondage. So under this heading, we will try to understand why we need to have a storage and pondage, what is the importance of that. So we know that we don't have the water resource or the availability of the water in the river throughout the year. So during the rainy seasons, there is a lot of water is available. So some of the sometimes the water in the rivers, the floods might take place. Whereas during the summer seasons, we don't have that water at all. Okay, so in order to compensate, or in order to have a power generation throughout the year, okay, irrespective of the different seasons, so these storage and pondage helps us in order to store during the rainy seasons in the form of a reservoir or in the form of a storage or a pondage, and then that water can be used during the drought seasons or the summer seasons. Okay, so under this, with the help of the sketch, we will try to understand what you mean by the storage, and then what is the construction of it, and then what is how does it work, and similarly we have a sketch for a pondage as well. So and then the next topic that we are going to discuss in this session is pumped storage plants. Okay, so sometimes there is a scarcity of water at the power plant, at the hydroelectric power plant, or when the water availability is very less at the hydroelectric power plant. Okay, in such a cases, this pumped storage plants are being used. Okay, the idea being, in normal hydroelectric power plants, what happens is from the reservoir where the water is stored, the water flows through the penstock, and then it is after it is passed over the turbine, where the energy which is stored in the water is converted into the electrical energy. So and then it will again goes into the tail race, and later it will join the river. So whereas in the case of a pumped storage plant, the idea is to pump back the water which is worked on the turbine. That means after the water goes over this turbine, and then in the tail race we kind of have a low storage plant, or the low water head, like a reservoir. There we will store the water which is coming from the turbine, and then later this water is pumped back to the main reservoir. Okay, so at the high head reservoir. Okay, so during the peak load conditions, we can the flow of water takes place from high head reservoir to the low head reservoir, and then during the low peak conditions, or when the load requirement or the demand for the electricity is less, so then the pumping back of the water, okay, which is at the bottom, back to the main reservoir will take place. Okay, so under this heading, we will try to understand what do you mean by the peak load conditions. Okay, so when what are the conditions? Okay, so when during the day, okay, we have a peak load conditions. Okay, so what is the construction of this pumped storage plants? Okay, so and then what is the operation of this pumped storage plants? Okay, so that we will try to understand under this heading. So next we have a low, medium, and high head power plants. Okay, so on various criteria, the hydroelectric power plants are classified. Okay, one among them is the criteria based on which they are classified is based on the head available. Okay, so they are classified as low head power plants, medium head power plants, and high head power plants. Okay, so under this we will try to understand when we can say this low head power plant. Okay, what is the condition? Like one has to say that like a low head, medium head, or the high head power plants. Okay, so and also we will try to understand. Okay, so with the help of a sketch. Okay, so how the construction and working of this low, medium, and high head power plants. And then one more important factor we will going to learn is what kind of turbines we can use for low head power plants, medium head power plants, and then the high head power plants. Okay, so those are the different topics that we are going to discuss and under the low, medium, and high head power plant. Basically, that is a classification of the hydroelectric power plants. So and then next topic that is that we are going to discuss is surge tanks. Okay. So probably you might have known while discussing in the previous sessions about the components of this hydroelectric power plant. Okay, we have a reservoir and then a dam constructed across the river, and then we have a penstock. Okay, and then we have a tail race, and then the powerhouse. Okay, so etc. Among them, one of the important component, okay, of an hydroelectric a power plant is that a surge tank. Okay, a surge tank is a kind of a pipe-like structure which is provided. Okay, so which is attached to this penstock where the rise and fall of the water takes place. Okay, so what is the purpose of this is in order to regulate the pressure fluctuations. Okay, so inside this closed circuit, okay, closed water circuit, if there are any pressure fluctuations, okay, so this surge tanks helps to reduce that. Okay, when there is excess of water, so that excess of water, instead of increasing pressure in the pipeline, so that will rise inside this surge tank. Okay, that will reduce the pressure or maintain the pressure. Okay, so during surplus of water, okay, so like water from the like a surge tank can be taken. Okay, so into the main line, that is through the penstock, and later it can be passed on to the turbines and thereon to the tail race. Okay, so these are the various topics that we are going to discuss in this session. So the first topic that we are going to discuss is storage and pondage. Okay, so as I said before, storage, during the rainy seasons, okay, there is availability of water is more. Okay, most of the rivers will be in the floods. Okay, so what happens if you don't store that water which is flowing full, okay, during the rainy seasons? That water, okay, eventually like end up in the ocean, okay, or the sea. Okay, so if we construct a reservoir or a kind of a dam, okay, across this flowing river, okay, you can store considerable amount of water in that reservoir, and then that can be used, okay, during the off seasons. Okay, so what do you mean by the off seasons? During the summer seasons, okay, there is no rainfall, so there is no water that is flowing through the river, so that water which is stored during the rainy seasons, that can be used to produce the electricity. Okay, so one more important thing is, okay, the demand of electricity is constant throughout the year. Okay, it doesn't mean that during the like rainy seasons you have a more demand for electricity, and then during the summer seasons you don't have a demand for, less demand for the electricity. Okay, so throughout the year there is a constant demand for electricity, so you have to plan, okay, so that you have a water that is used to produce electricity from a hydroelectric power plant throughout the year. Okay, irrespective of whether it is a winter season, rainy season, or a summer or a winter seasons. Okay, so that is the idea behind that. Okay, basically we store a considerable amount of water. Okay, so in the reservoir during the availability of water, that is during the rainy seasons, and then that water can be used, okay, in order to produce the electricity during the summer seasons. Okay, so there are two types in that one. Okay, that is, one is the storage, and then one more is the pondage. Okay, so what do you mean by the storage is that? Okay, so we have this, if you look at this sketch, we have the river which is shown in these dotted lines. Okay, and then across which a dam is constructed. Okay, so here the construction of the dam, okay, results in a storage of, okay, considerable amount of water, okay, behind the reservoir or the dam here. Okay, so and then at the dam we have a hydroelectric power plant. Okay, so that is used to produce the electricity. Okay, so during the rainy seasons when the water availability is very, very high, okay, so then a lot of amount, okay, considerable amount of water is collected, okay, so in the reservoir, okay, so behind the dam, so and then that water can be used, okay, during the off seasons, that is during the summer seasons, when the water is availability, okay, in the river is very less, okay, in order to produce the hydroelectric power, okay. So that is about this, the storage systems, okay. So one more the concept, that is the pondage, okay. This is also works in the similar fashion as the storage, okay. So here we have a river, and then across which a dam or a wire is constructed, okay. So the water is taken through this power channel here, and then it will enter into the forebay to provide the pondage, okay. This is a pondage which we have provided, okay. That will store a certain amount of water, okay. So and then we have a penstocks through which the water is taken, and then we have a hydro powerhouse, okay. It is next to the penstock where the water is water works on the turbine where the electricity is produced, and then after the water passing on the turbines, okay, so it will released into the tail race, again it will join back into the river, okay. So here this is the pondage we are speaking about, okay. So that is stores considerable amount of water in order to make available of the water, okay, during the summer seasons, or when the water availability in the river is less, okay. So what are some of the advantages of this pondage are, okay. So when there is a fluctuations in the river flow, okay. So sometimes the river flow is very high, okay. So when there is a rain, okay, the river flows full, okay. So and then sometimes when there is no rain, okay, the river is dried, okay. So there is no flow in the river, okay. So what happens in that time? So we have the pondage, okay, in which the water is stored, okay. So that constantly supplies the water to the turbines or the hydroelectric power plant. So irrespective of the whether the river there is availability of the water inside the river, okay, so it is high or low, so you can produce the electricity, okay. So because we have stored the water in the form of a pondage, okay. So and then any load fluctuations on the turbine, okay. So if the load demand is very high, okay, turbine needs working at a higher speeds and it needs more of water, okay. So this pondage will help to supply the more water to that. And then when the demand is very less, okay, load on the turbine is less, okay, so then the turbine needs a less water, okay. So then the excess water is stored inside this pondage, okay. So when there is a load fluctuations on the turbine, so the pondage is very useful. And then when the river flow, okay, so when the flow is not uniform, okay, so then also this pondage is very useful, okay. So that is about the storage and pondage, okay. Basically what they do is they will store the considerable amount of water, okay, during the rainy seasons, or when the water availability in the river is more, and then that water can be used, okay, so during the summer seasons, or when the availability of water in the river is less, okay. So we will discuss about the second topic, that is pumped storage plants, okay. So this is a sketch for pumped storage plants. So why we need this pumped storage plant, that we have to understand first, okay. So there is conditions like peak load conditions, okay. So what do you mean by the peak load is, okay, when you are talking about hydroelectric power plants, okay. So the load means what is the demand for the electricity from the hydroelectric power plant, okay. So during the night times what happens, okay, so between evenings, okay, 6 to 10 o'clock, okay, so most of us at the homes, and then we use a lot of electricity, okay. For example, we switch on various home appliances, for example television for that matter, and then all the kitchen appliances will be running, okay. And also electricity demand from the industries will be very high, okay. So during the like a night time, the demand for electricity is very high, that is we call it as a peak load conditions, okay. So the electricity demand from the hydraulic power plant is very high, okay. And then we have during a day, okay, so we have also a less load demands, okay, during the night time, okay. So we don't need, okay, so the demand for electricity is very less, okay, so during the night times, okay. So the idea of this pumped storage plant is that, okay, so during the no load, or when the load required or the demand for the electricity is very less. Okay, so the water after it is passing on to the turbine, it is stored in a low water point. Okay, so which is stored in a tail water point. Okay, so and then that water during the night time when the demand for the electricity is very less. Okay, so that is no load conditions. Okay, so we pump back the water. Okay, so we pump back the water to the so head water point here. Okay, so and then when the load demand is increases. Okay, so for example during the evening times. Okay, so or during the daytime, so that water which is pumped back to the head water point is used to run over the turbine that will produce the electricity. Okay, so this is the operation or the why we need this the pumped storage plants. Okay, so where we like one more important condition. Okay, so where this pumped storage plant can be used is when the availability of the water is less. Okay, so then we can like kind of recycle the water after working on the turbine. It will stored in the tail water pond, and then that water can be pumped back to the head water pond, and then that can be used in a cycle continuously in a kind of recycling of water. Okay, so that is a pumped storage plant. Okay, wherever the water availability is very less. Okay, so then we can go for a pumped storage plants. Okay, so coming to the construction of a pumped storage plant. Okay, as we know in all the hydraulic power plants we have a reservoir. Okay, the head water pond we call it here. So where the across which a dam is constructed, here a certain quantity of water, considerable amount of water is stored in this head water pond here. Okay, so from the dam to the powerhouse, the water is transferred with the help of a pipe structure that is called as a penstock, and then in this powerhouse, generally what happens is in hydroelectric power plants we have only the turbines which converts the energy which is contained in the water into the electrical energy, whereas in this powerhouse we along with the turbine we have a pump as well. Okay, I will like why the pump is to pump back the water. Okay, so and then here after working on the turbine, after the energy of the water is converted like a transfer to the turbine, when the water energy is transmitted to mechanical energy inside the turbine, the water is coming out of the turbine is stored in the tail water pond. Again a dam is constructed. So at the bottom here, so tail water pond, this is where the water is stored again after it has been worked on the turbine. So this is the construction on various components of a pumped storage plants. Coming to the working principle, how does it work? So in the head water pond, so when there is a peak load condition, when the demand for electricity is more, so during the evening times, so then the water from the head water pond is taken through the penstock here, and then it is passes through the powerhouse where the turbines are there. So the electricity is produced because the turbines are connected to the generator. So and then after the water passed on to the turbine, it is released into the tail race. So here we kind of have a dam. Here again the water is stored here. So this is during the peak time. So when there is a less demand for electricity during the night time, for example, so the generation of electricity from the turbine is like not required. So during the low demand of electricity conditions, what we do is whatever the water which is stored in the tail water pond here, so that is pumped back. So with the help of a pump which is present inside this powerhouse. So from here now the water flows in the reverse direction, and then it is again stored in the head water pond. Remember, this is during the low load conditions, or when the electricity demand is less during the night time, for example. So here the pump is used in order to lift the water from the tail water pond to the head water pond. So and then the energy required to run this pump is taken from the grid, electric grid, or from the steam power plants which works along with this hydroelectric power plants. So and then about 70% of the energy which is used to pump back the water can be recovered from this system. About 70% of the energy can be recovered from this system. So this is how the pumped storage plant works. Okay, so when the like availability of the water is less, okay, so then we can go for a pumped storage plants, okay, where during the peak load conditions the water flows from head water pond to the tail water pond, and then electricity is generated. When the demand for electricity is less during that time, the water in the tail water pond is pumped back to the head water pond, okay, so with the help of a pump, okay, so then that water can be used later during the peak load conditions, okay. So this is about pumped storage plants, okay. So and then next topic that we are going to discuss is the classification of the hydroelectric power plants. They are basically classified as low, medium and high head power plants, okay. So we will try to understand with the help of a sketch what do you mean by the low head power plants, what is the conditions that we can say that it is a low head power plant, and then what are the different types of turbines, okay, which can be used, okay, for these different types of the power plants, okay. So that we will discuss next, okay. So one of the sketch I have written, this is for the high head power plant, okay. So here we have a reservoir and then the spillway, okay. Usually the water which is stored in like a very high, okay, so that means over the mountains, okay. So and then if the ice melts, okay, it kind of creates a reservoir, okay, at the top of the mountains, okay. And then when the availability of the head, okay, so the head is measured in terms of the meters. If it is 100 meters and above, then we can call that as a high head power plants, okay, hydroelectric power plants, okay. So a reservoir is made, okay, upon the mountains, okay, a tunnel is okay, drilled, okay, or made, okay, inside this mountain here, and then we have a surge tank. Okay, surge tank helps to rise and fall of the water in order to control the fluctuations of the pressure inside the hydraulic circuit here, okay. And then we have a penstock that will transfer the water from the, okay, reservoir to the powerhouse here, okay. So this is a construction of a high head power plant, okay. One of the important condition is when the head available, okay, when the head available is 100 meters or above, then we can call them as a high head power plants, okay. The type of the turbine that we can use, okay, in this high head power plants is a Pelton wheel, okay. I repeat that the Pelton wheel, okay, turbine is used, okay, in order to generate the electricity in the case of a high head power plants, okay. So coming to the working principle, here the water is stored, and then if there is any excess water, that will flow over this spillway here, which is provided at the back of the reservoir, and then water is taken through this tunnel here, and then there is a surge tank that will like control the fluctuations of the pressure, and after that the water flows through this penstock, and then there is a valve house here that will control the flow rate of this the water which is flowing, okay, and then the powerhouse where the turbine present, okay, so that will generate the electricity, okay. Two important points you have to remember in the case of high head power plant is that head is about 100 meters or above, and then the type of the turbine that we use in the case of a high head power plants or the hydroelectric power plants is a Pelton wheel turbine. So next we will discuss about other two types of hydroelectric power plants, okay. So the next one is the medium head power plants, and then the last one is the low head power plants, okay. So in the medium head power plants, okay, so one of the prerequisite, okay, as I told in the high head power plant, if the head available for the hydroelectric power plant is more than 100 meters, okay, then we can call it as high head power plants. If the head available is in between 30 meters to the 100 meters, okay, it is called as a medium head power plant, okay. I repeat, if the head available in a power plant, hydroelectric power plant, is in between 30 meters to the 100 meters, that we can call it as a medium head power plants, okay. So this is a schematic representation of a medium head power plant, okay. As in all the power plants we have a a reservoir where the water is stored. Okay, a dam is constructed across the reservoir here, and then before that we have this forebay. Okay, so which also stores the water, and then which kind of acts as a surge tank. Okay, a surge tank which has a function of, if inside the surge tank the water can rise or fall. Okay, so that will compensate for any fluctuations in the pressure in a circuit, hydraulic circuit here. Okay, so and then we have a sluice gate in order to control the flow rate of the this water which is flowing out of this reservoir here. Okay, and then there is a dam. Okay, so before that we have a like a forebay or the surge tank. Okay, so as we know that we have a penstock which normally transfers the water from the reservoir, okay, to the inlet of the turbine. Okay, so one more important the feature of this medium head power plants. Okay, the first one is the head available is 30 meters to the 100 meters. The second one is the type of the turbines that we use. Okay, here in this case we can use this a Francis turbine, majorly used turbine in the case of a medium head turbine, power plants. The Francis turbine can be used. Okay, so once this water which is taken from the reservoir, okay, it is transferred onto the Francis turbine, where the energy which is stored in the water, that is kinetic and potential energy, is converted into the mechanical energy, that in turn converted into the electrical energy with the help of a generators. Okay, so this is basically a powerhouse where this turbine and generators are placed. Okay, so once this like a water, after passing on this Francis turbine, okay, so the water is released, okay, into the tail race that will join into the river. Okay, so in the later. Okay, so that is about the construction of this construction and working of a medium head power plants. Okay, two important points that you have to remember in this case is, okay, so the first one is the head available is 30 meters to the 100 meters, and then the surge tank, okay, is the forebay which is provided before the dam, okay, acts as a surge tank in the case of a medium head power plants. And one more important point you have to remember in this case is the type of the turbine that we use. Okay, in the case of a medium head power plants is the Francis turbine. Okay, so that is about the medium head power plants. Okay, the last one that is low head power plants. Okay, so when the head available is less than 30 meters, okay, then we can call that hydroelectric power plant as a low head, okay, so power plants. Okay, in this case the Kaplan turbine is used. Okay, so in order to generate the electricity from the water. Okay, so coming to the construction of this, okay, this sketch, okay, figure here shows a low head power plant schematic representation. Okay, in this case we have a river here, and then across the river a dam is constructed. Okay, this is a main flow, and then we have a kind of a flow is diverged, okay, into the canal here. Okay, which is the flow rate of the water which flows, the diverged water which flows into the canal can be controlled with the help of a sluice gate. Okay, so gate which normally controls the how much the water has to flow. Okay, so and then after this water flows through this canal here, okay, and then it is taken into the power plant. Okay, inside the power plant we have a hydraulic machines. Okay, in this case we have a Kaplan turbine, so that is the low head turbine. Okay, so and then after the water which passes onto the Kaplan turbine, there the energy is converted. The water which has energy of kinetic and potential energy is converted into mechanical energy. Through the generator we produce the electricity, and then a kind of forebay is created before this power plant. Okay, that will help to, okay, accumulate certain quantity of considerable amount of water. Okay, so before passing on to this power plant, okay, where the turbine is present. Okay, after the water, okay, passing through this powerhouse, okay, or the turbine, that is normally Kaplan turbine, it will again rejoins the river. Okay, so at this point here, okay, so again it will rejoins the river. Okay, so here we have a tail race. After the tail race the stream is, okay, connected to the main stream of the river here. Okay, this is about the low head like hydroelectric power plant. Okay, in this case you have to remember that the head available is less than 30 meters. Okay, then we can call it it as a low head hydroelectric power plant. Okay, here the type of the turbine that we use is the Kaplan turbine. So here the mainstream of the water, okay, in that water which is flowing in the river is diverged, okay, are taken in terms of through the canal, which is controlled. The flow through the canal is controlled with the help of a sluice gate. So and then it enters to the forebay where the certain quantity of water is stored, and then later on it is passed on to the powerhouse where the Kaplan turbine is present. Okay, so that turbine converts the energy contained in the water into the electrical energy, and then again after working the water working on the turbine, it will again rejoin the mainstream. Okay, that is the river. Okay, so this is about the classification of hydroelectric power plant. So based on the heads, they have classified as high head turbine, then medium head turbine and low head turbine. Okay, so the differences is, in the case of a high head turbine, you have the head available at the power plant is greater than 100 meters, and then in the case of a medium head turbine, the head varies between 30 meters to the 100 meters, whereas in the case of a low head turbine, the head is available is less than 30 meters. Okay, so and then the type of the turbines that we use in the case of a high head power plants is Pelton wheel turbine. In the case of a medium head turbines is Francis. Sometimes you can also use this Kaplan turbine. And then in the case of a low head turbines, okay, low head power plants, so you can use a Kaplan turbine as a hydraulic machine, okay, or the turbo machine. Okay, that will convert the energy which is stored in the water into the mechanical energy. Okay, so this is about classification, and then the three different types of turbines that we have. The last topic of this session is about the surge tanks. Okay, so we know that in a hydroelectric power plant, so it consists of various components. For example, it consists of a reservoir across which a dam is constructed, and then we have a component such as a penstock which transmits the water from the reservoir to the powerhouse or the turbine. We have a tail race, okay, and then inside the powerhouse we have a different types of turbines. Okay, similarly a surge tank is also a very important component of an very important component of hydroelectric power plants. Okay, so what is this? What does this the surge tank does? Okay, so a surge tank, okay, by definition, it is a small reservoir or a tank. Okay, it acts as a small reservoir. It can store a smaller quantity of water. Okay, in which the water level rises or falls to reduce the pressure swings. Okay, so in which there is a possibility to a rise of the water as well as a fall of the water. Okay, the water can rise as well as a fall. Okay, so inside this a surge tank. Okay, to reduce the pressure swings, okay, so that they are not transmitted in the full to a closed circuit. Okay, if you don't have a surge tank, okay, what happens is there is a pressure swings, okay, inside this closed hydraulic circuit. Okay, so and then what are the purpose of this surge tank is that, okay, it reduces the water hammer effect, okay, on the penstock. Okay, so and then the second purpose is serves as a supply tank and then the storage tank. Okay, so sometimes the turbine is running at a full load conditions, okay, when the peak load conditions, okay, it needs a lot of water, okay, to be supplied at the inlet of the turbine. Okay, during which, okay, the water which is stored, okay, inside the surge tank can, okay, also transmitted onto the turbine. Okay, sometimes when the load is less, okay, turbine is running at a lesser speeds, okay, then the water at the inlet is required is less. Okay, so then it can store the water, okay, the excess water can be stored in the surge tank. Okay, so coming to the next topic, okay, inside the surge tank, that is, there are various types of a surge tanks. Okay, the four types are simple surge tank, and then we have a inclined surge tank, that is a second type, and then expansion chamber surge tank, and then the fourth one is a restricted orifice surge tank. Okay, we will try to discuss one by one. So the simple surge tank looks like this. Okay, we have a conduit in which the water is flowing, okay, and then which is with the help of this short pipe, okay, which is connected to the surge tank here. Okay, this is a surge tank which is normally in the cylindrical shape. Okay, so diameter of that surge tank is capital D, and then the diameter of the conduit, okay, or the short pipe is small d. Okay, so this is a simple surge tank sketch. Okay, and then then some of the disadvantages of this surge tank is they are not so economical, and then sometimes they are expensive. Okay, those are the some of the disadvantages. Okay, so coming to the next, inclined surge tank. Okay, if you take this, if you look at this sketch here, okay, it is inclined to the conduit pipe. Okay, this is a conduit pipe. It is at some inclination or at angle to the conduit pipe. Okay, so this is also in a cylindrical shape. Okay, the diameter is capital D, and then the conduit diameter is small d. Okay, this is an inclined surge tank we have. Okay, so what is the advantage is that, okay, so since the water surface area is less, okay, so for same operation, okay, so if you compare these two, okay, the height of this surge tank required is less, okay, if you incline the surge tank. Okay, if it is at some inclination to the a conduit pipe, the height required is less. Okay, so some of the disadvantages is, okay, because of its inclination it is difficult to construct. Okay, and as well as this is a little bit costlier compared to this simple surge tank here. Okay, so and then one more type, that is a third type, is expansion chamber surge tank. That is the shown in this sketch here. We have a conduit pipe as usual, to which, okay, and a short pipe is connected. We have a lower gallery and then expansion chamber here. Okay, so this is in a sketch for this expansion chamber, a surge tank. Okay, so the water can be stored in the expansion chamber as well as the lower gallery. When it is required, the water can flow into the conduit again. Okay, so this is about the expansion chamber surge tank. Okay, and then the last one is a restricted orifice surge tank. Okay, what is the difference here? Okay, these two looks the same. The simple surge tank and the restricted orifice surge tank looks the same. Okay, we have a conduit with the help of a short pipe. We connected this surge tank. One exception is that we have a small orifice, okay, that can control the flow of water into the surge tank and then from the surge tank here. Okay, so these are the different types of surge tanks. Okay, what is the purpose of surge tank and then the definition of the surge tank. Okay, so basically it is acts as a small reservoir, so in which the water can rise and then fall, and then which will reduce the pressure swings actually. So what is the purpose is that it reduces the water hammer effect, okay, which is not desirable in the case of hydroelectric power plants, and then it will also acts as a supply tank, okay, and also storage tank. Okay, it can supply the water as well as it can store the water. Okay, so and then later we have discussed about 4 types of a surge tank. The first one is simple surge tank and inclined surge tank, when the surge tank is inclined to the conduit pipe at some angle, and then expansion chamber surge tank, where the expansion chamber is provided which can store the excess amount of water, and then restricted orifice, we have provided the orifice, okay, which will restrict the flow of water into the surge tank or from the surge tank to the conduit pipe. Okay, these are the different types of surge tank we have. Okay, so this is for the session. Okay, so that we have discussed importantly 4 topics, that is storage and pondage. Okay, why we need the storage and pondage. With the help of a sketch we have discussed that, and pumped storage plants also we have discussed. Okay, and then we later on we try to understand the classification of the hydroelectric power plant. They are classified as low, medium and high head plants. Okay, so and then the last topic that we discussed for this session is surge tank. Okay, so these are different topics, okay, so that we have covered. Thank you so much.